Support WrestleTalk!
Kofi Kingston won, Seth Rollins won, Becky Lynch won, even though the finish looked like it was kind of botched. But what did it cost? Everything. I'm a very tired Ollie Davis. Press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, and answer our question of the day in the comments down below. Was the Ronda Rousey finish botched? Because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. Also vote in the poll above my head to give your rating for the show, where you can choose from best of both worlds, great per view, thumbs in the middle, meh per view, and worst of both worlds, while I review all 900 hours of the longest show of them all, WrestleMania 35. The kickoff show kicked off WrestleMania's theme this year, titles changing hands. As before, you could even get over Pat McAfee wearing a suit with shorts, or a skirt. Tony Nese beat Cruiserweight champion Buddy Murphy in a shock victory. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal came next, where all the main roster ladies not booked on the main show just walked out in one big entrance, including Ember Moon in a rather lackluster return from injury. The Battle Royal was pretty sloppy at the start, but got surprisingly fun at the end, including Moon getting a great showing, Lana dressed as Wonder Wonder Woman, and an inspired final three of Sarah Logan, Asuka, and Sonya Deville, where Logan won. They're pushing Sarah Logan right over the top rope. When Carmella revealed she never actually got eliminated, she was just hiding. Some people say Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus The Revival had no build. That's incorrect. There was a bit of build. It was just 3 months ago. It's a shame, because this match got really good when Hawkins finally hot tagged in, leading to a surprise roll-up on Scott Dawson to end his losing streak and become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Revival to AEW confirmed. Luke Harper also just randomly returned from injury, walking out for the Memorial Giant The Andre Royal Battle. SNL's Colin Jost and Michael Che hid under the ring while everyone else got eliminated, including Ali potentially injuring himself by smashing his face on the commentary desk, and appeared at the end for a bit, with Braun Strowman and Jost's therapist / quite obviously a wrestler wearing a suit. Braun won in the end, making it his second pointless Rumble match win. Maybe a trophy can wear the greatest Rumble belt or something. We're 2 hours in! Only 6 more to go! Alexa Bliss's first act as WrestleMania host is to introduce another WrestleMania host, Hulk Hogan! Yay! Hulk Hogan, we really like him! Wait, wasn't there some kind of controversy? No time to think about that, as Paul Heyman's walking down to the ring. Because Brock Lesnar isn't hanging around if he's not in the main event, the Universal title match is going to happen right now. This was a great way to kick off the main card, with Brock destroying Seth Rollins around the ring. But despite all the suplexes, the F5s, the surprise match placing, Seth had Brock's number, his testicles. Building on the angle from Monday's Raw, Rollins, fighting for the morally good, hit a low blow and 3 curb stomps on Lesnar for the win. I love that Seth won, but I don't think that fits his babyface character, and it would have been more effective to just beat Brock clean. It's not like he needs protector. Oh god, he's winning the belt back next month, isn't he? AJ Styles and Randy Orton put on an excellent match next, mainly because Randy actually cared for a change. He wrestled with an extra ferocity, with headbutts, uppercuts, and an amazing high-angle superplex. AJ beat him in the end though. Then Lacey Evans walked on stage and then back off it. At least that's out the way! The Usos were one of the few acts to retain their titles next in a fun 4-way against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, The Bar, and well-known established tag team Ricochet and Aleister Black. This was a very fun 10-minute match, the highlight being an extended Cesaro swing on Ricochet, while Sheamus overhand clubbed everyone on the apron. This match was also where I officially came last in Wrestle League Season 1, meaning I'll be making a music video of HBK's entrance song Sexy Boy soon, because I'm just the sexy Ollie. Ooh, 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 I'm not your boy, Ollie. Just when you're worried WrestleMania might only be an enjoyable night of good in-ring wrestling, Shane McMahon and The Miz put on arguably sports entertainment of the night. I was very much sports entertained, and it's mainly because of this guy, Miz Dad, who tried to confront Shane, but suffered death by potatoes. This unleashed fury Miz, and him and Shane brawled around the arena, through the entire foreign commentary buffet table, up and over onto a golf cart buggy, and then a huge suplex off a filming platform. But because Shane landed on top of Miz, McMahon won. This was genuinely so much fun. Now someone please go and check on Miz Dad. The women's four-way tag couldn't follow them, unfortunately, and they had the weakest match on the card up until this point. But the Iconics won though, stealing Beth Phoenix's win, so that's something that's happening. Then came the emotional high point of the card, Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. Kofi easily got the biggest reaction of the entire show, which is what happens when WWE go with crowd momentum, and the babyface roster were brilliantly shown backstage cheering him on. The match itself was terrifically worked, with Bryan always having a submission answer to Kofi's comebacks, until he didn't. When the New Day took out Rowan on the outside, and Kingston hit the Trouble in Paradise for the clean win. Everyone, us included, went legit wholesome nuts, with fans literally jumping up and down with joy and the New Day crying in the ring. If only WWE.com didn't release Kofi's "There's a New Champ, Yes There Is" t-shirt on their website midway through the match, or rather obviously have the new title belt in shot by the announcer's desk. You're exposing the business, New Day. And that's where we all decided, that's enough wrestling now. Problem was, there were 4 hours left, which included SNL host Che and Rose getting butt examined by Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, dressed as doctors in a thing that actually happened, Samoa Joe choking out Rey Mysterio in 1 minute to retain his US title, the crowd barely reacting to Roman Reigns beating Drew McIntyre, Ron Simmons saying, "Damn!" at the B team, and Elias playing the drums, then playing the piano, then also appearing on the stage with a guitar while also still playing the drums and the piano, and then all the Eliases playing a song together, which was interrupted by a video package hyping the debut of Babe Ruth that actually introduced Doctor of Thugonomics era John Cena, who did a rap, and by rap, I mean a rhyming piece of spoken word. I've got to be honest, I'm not entirely sure any of that happened, because I could have just passed out and I'd eaten a lot of pizza during the women's tag match. Even though Batista tripped over the second rope when he got in the ring, he still had a cooler entrance than Triple H, whose annual WrestleMania entrance midlife crisis was Mad Max themed this year, a franchise that's about 3 years from relevancy. They had a 25-minute match that would have been much better in just 15. The memorable spots were there, Triple H plucking out Batista's nose ring, the spear through the commentary desk, and a powerbomb on the steps, but it needed to be punchier to keep the tired audience's attention. Ric Flair gave Trips the sledgehammer to pick up the win. It was great having you back, Dave. Apart from the length, this next match was WrestleMania's only major negative. Baron Corbin beat Kurt Angle. That was the match. That was the match that actually happened. It was disappointing. It was awkward. Kurt missed a moonsault, and Baron hit the end of days. Angle put over a guy on the way out, which is how it should be. But Kurt's entire second WWE run has been a complete waste. And this was the little bit of corn on top of the large pile of crap. It's sad. It's damn sad. Finn Balor looked great as the Demon as always, but credit must also go to Bob I. Lashley, with his contact lenses and far more vicious wrestling style. The Demon won with the coup de grace though. Alexa Bliss announced the totally 100% legit attendance figure of 82,256, and then our Truth and Carmella did a dance break to try wake them all up, because it's finally time after 7 hours that absolutely flew by for the main event. Charlotte Flair came to the arena in a helicopter, referencing her father's Great American Bash entrance from 1986. Ronda Rousey got Joan Jett and the Blackhearts to play her out live, and Becky Lynch just walked down to the ring actually, which was all she had to do, as it woke up the crowd for the first real sustained time since the Kofi match. They proceeded to have a pretty decent triple threat. It was a bit sloppy or stagey at times, but Ronda screaming bitch at Becky, Charlotte, the crowd, and a table that had been set up in the ring covered that rather well. Rousey's heel fire was brilliant, unloading knees and punches on both Lynch and Flair, and when it finally came down to a Becky versus Ronda face-off, the match leveled up in drama. They had a great strike exchange. Ronda hit a jumping knee. She rolled through for the Piper's Pit, which Becky reversed into a crucifix pin, and she won the match. Huh? It was a really weird ending, especially as Ronda actually had her shoulders up as the referee counted the pin. There's two main possibilities here. Either this was the planned finish, giving WWE a reason to set up a Ronda versus Becky rematch, or the pin was botched and the referee wasn't meant to count. Either way, it came off as a flat end to an otherwise enjoyable match, and a rather limp way for Becky to win both titles. Overall, this is possibly one of the best WrestleManias WWE have ever put on. From the babyface trio of Seth, Kofi and Lynch winning, to the surprisingly awesome McMahon vs Miz match. But the show was 3 hours too long, and draining the crowd's energy that much affected the experience. Nothing reached the highs after Kofi's title win midway through because the crowd were too tired. It's both a totally obvious and completely avoidable mistake. So WrestleMania 35 gets a great pay-per-view. Watch me, Luke and Laurie play WWE 2K19 on our sister channel Screen Stalker by clicking the video on the right, and find out all the details on Bret Hart being attacked at the Hall of Fame. I've been Ollie Davis. I'm gonna go to bed now, and that was wrestling.